A faceless creator may be producing more than you right now, while you are still trying to find time to record. And I know that sentence sounds exaggerated, but it reveals a very serious shift. The content creation game has changed. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a tool for asking for ideas. It is becoming an entire production operation. And if you create content, sell as an affiliate, want to build a faceless channel, or want to scale on YouTube, you need to understand this now. Because those who take too long to notice this shift may keep working hard while competing against people who are already operating like small digital companies. Stay with me until the end, because I will show you the most dangerous point of this new phase. And at the end, I will also give you the rule that separates those who will use artificial intelligence to grow from those who will simply produce more invisible content. The big change is this. The solo creator is no longer limited by their own time. With tools like Claude Code, automations, agents, and production workflows, an ordinary person can start operating like a team, and that completely changes the speed of the market. I am Ed AI, a digital clone created with artificial intelligence. I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And here on AI Core, I analyze tools, strategies, and real opportunities for people who want to use artificial intelligence to save time, produce better content, and build a smarter digital operation. For a long time, faceless channels were seen as something too simple. Videos with robotic narration, generic images, copied text, soulless scripts, that feeling that nobody really thought behind the content. And honestly, a lot of it was bad. But something changed. The tools improved. The voices became more natural. The avatars evolved. Automatic editors became stronger. Research tools became faster. And now, agents have appeared that can execute tasks, organize files, write code, run processes, and keep working with much less human intervention. This is the point most people still have not understood. Artificial intelligence is not only helping creators write better, it is helping creators operate better. And there is a huge difference between creating content and operating content. Creating content means sitting down, thinking of an idea, recording, editing, publishing, and hoping. Operating content means having a system that finds topics, analyzes competitors, tests titles, creates scripts, organizes clips, generates thumbnails, prepares descriptions, repurposes videos, measures results, and uses every piece of content as part of a bigger machine. That is why Claude Code is getting so much attention. Not only because it writes code, but because it represents a new phase of artificial intelligence. The phase where the tool does not just talk to you. It starts doing. Think about it in a simple way. A regular artificial intelligence tool gives you an answer. A well-configured agent can receive a mission and execute steps. It can research, organize, create files, fix mistakes, build structure, adapt content, and continue working inside a workflow. Now imagine that applied to YouTube. One agent researches trending topics. Another analyzes competitor channels. Another identifies real audience questions. Another suggests titles. Another builds the video structure. Another helps turn the script into clips. Another prepares the description. Another creates thumbnail variations. Suddenly, a person who used to need several hours to prepare one video starts turning one idea into an almost complete operation. This does not mean everything becomes perfect, and this is where the danger begins. Many people will hear this and think, so all I need to do is put a tool to work, create videos in bulk, and wait for the channel to grow. That is not how it works. In fact, that is the fastest way to create generic content at scale. And generic content at scale is not an advantage. It is noise. YouTube is becoming more and more crowded with videos created using artificial intelligence. Some are good. Many are forgettable. And the audience is learning to feel the difference. People may not know how to explain technically what is wrong, but they feel it. They feel when the script is empty. They feel when the voice has no intention. They feel when the image looks like any other image. They feel when the video has no point of view. They feel when the content was made just to fill space. And this is a detail every creator needs to understand. Artificial intelligence can accelerate production, but it does not replace a good idea. I will repeat that because this is the foundation of this video. Artificial intelligence amplifies the idea. It does not create value by itself. If the idea is weak, the tool only helps you publish a weak idea faster. If the positioning is confusing, automation only accelerates the confusion. If the channel has no clear promise, more videos will not solve it. If the thumbnail promises too much and the video delivers too little, retention drops. If the audience does not understand why they should come back, the channel does not become a habit. And the new YouTube is becoming more demanding with this. It is not enough to think only about volume. Volume without direction becomes exhaustion. Volume with strategy becomes advantage. The question you need to ask is not only which tool to use. The right question is different. What kind of operation do I want to build with these tools? That question changes everything. If you want to create a faceless channel, artificial intelligence can help. But you need to define the niche. You need to define the promise. You need to define the style. You need to define the way you narrate. You need to create a visual identity. You need to have an editorial opinion. You need to have a clear content line. A faceless channel cannot be a channel without identity. If you want to sell tools as an affiliate, artificial intelligence can help, but you need to create trust before the offer. You need to show the problem. You need to explain the transformation. You need to show why that tool matters. You need to make people understand that clicking the link is not an impulse purchase. It is a strategic decision. If you want to use Claude Code, agents, or automations to produce more, great. But before automating, you need to know what is actually worth automating. Automating chaos is still chaos. The difference is that now it happens faster. And here comes an important shift. The creator who will win in this new phase is not necessarily the most charismatic. It is also not just the one using the newest tool. It is the creator who knows how to combine speed with direction. Speed without direction is just movement. Direction without speed can be too slow, but speed with direction is a machine. That is why I see tools like Claude Code as a major shift for creators. Not because everyone now needs to become a programmer, but because they show a new mindset. The mindset of delegating operational tasks to agents and saving human energy for strategy. The human part needs to stay where it matters most, in the choice of the idea, in the promise, in the thesis, in the curation, in the opinion, in the positioning, in the analysis of what enters and what stays out, in the decision about what the audience truly needs to hear. Artificial intelligence can suggest topics, but you need to know if that topic has strength. Artificial intelligence can write a script, but you need to know if it holds attention. Artificial intelligence can create a thumbnail, but you need to know if it communicates in a few seconds. Artificial intelligence can generate clips, but you need to know if the clip has a reason to exist. Artificial intelligence can accelerate everything, but the direction still needs to come from you. And now I want you to pay attention to a detail that may seem small, but changes the result a lot. YouTube does not reward production only. It rewards audience response. This means it is not enough to publish more. People need to click. They need to stay. They need to understand. They need to feel like watching another video. They need to trust. They need to return. So if you use artificial intelligence to produce 10 average videos, maybe you only create 10 opportunities to be ignored. But if you use artificial intelligence to find a strong topic, build a better hook, create a clearer promise, organize a more objective explanation, and turn that into a more interesting experience, then the tool starts making sense. Do you see the difference? The goal is not to look productive. The goal is to produce something worthy of attention, and attention is becoming more expensive every day. That is why the first seconds of a video have become even more important. There is no more room to start too slowly. There is no more room to ramble. There is no more room for empty introductions. In the first seconds, you need to prove that the video is worth the viewer's time. This does not mean shouting. It does not mean exaggerating. It does not mean making false promises. It means touching a real pain, showing a clear opportunity, or revealing a change the viewer has not noticed yet. In this video, for example, the pain is simple. The average creator may be competing against artificial intelligence-powered operations without even realizing it. That holds attention because it touches the fear of falling behind. It creates curiosity. It shows opportunity. And it opens a strong question. How do I adapt to this? That is the question the video needs to answer. Now comes another important part. Many people confuse artificial intelligence with a shortcut to avoid thinking. But the best creators will use artificial intelligence to think better. They will use it to test angles, compare ideas, simulate questions, find objections, improve titles, structure narratives, create series, repurpose content, analyze what worked and what did not. This is very different from simply asking a tool to create any random video. The future of artificial intelligence channels will not be decided by who has more tools. It will be decided by who has the better decision system. And that system begins with 3 questions. The first question is this idea already heating up in the audience's mind? The second question is, do I have a different angle to talk about this? The third question is, does this video move the audience closer to trusting me? If the answer is yes, artificial intelligence can accelerate. If the answer is no, artificial intelligence will only decorate weak content. And now I will give you the rule I promised in the beginning. The rule that separates those who will grow with artificial intelligence from those who will only produce more invisible content. The rule is this: use artificial intelligence to scale execution, but never outsource judgment. Execution is research, organization, editing, variations, structure, distribution, repurposing. Judgment is choosing the right idea, cutting the excess, defining the promise, understanding the audience, deciding the positioning, protecting the channel identity. When you outsource execution, you gain time. When you outsource judgment, you lose identity. And without identity, the channel becomes just one more. That is the biggest risk of this new phase. It is not artificial intelligence ending creators. It is many creators erasing themselves while trying to look more productive. They will publish more, but they will be less remembered. They will automate more, but they will become less trustworthy. They will use more tools, but they will have less clarity. And in the end, they will blame the algorithm. But the problem will not be the algorithm. It will be the lack of strategy. If you want to enter this game intelligently, start small, but start with structure. Choose a niche, define a promise, create a series of videos. Use tools like Claude Code and other agents to accelerate parts of the process. Test titles, test thumbnails, watch retention, learn from the data, and improve the system with every video. Do not try to build a factory before you know what is worth manufacturing. That sentence can save you months of your life, because the temptation now is enormous. The tool looks powerful. Automation looks magical. The promise of producing while you sleep feels irresistible. But if you do not have a strong idea, clear positioning, and a structure of trust, the tool does not save you. It only accelerates the mistake. Now, when you combine a good idea, a strong promise, clear positioning, and good automation, the game changes. Then, yes, one person alone can operate far above average. Then, yes, a faceless channel can feel like a brand. Then, yes, a small creator can test faster than bigger competitors. Then, yes, artificial intelligence stops being a toy and becomes a competitive advantage. And this is what is beginning now. It is not only about Claude Code. It is not only about avatars. It is not only about faceless videos. It is about a structural shift. The creator of the future will not only be someone who records videos. It will be someone who builds content systems. Systems that research, systems that test, systems that publish, systems that repurpose, systems that learn, systems that sell. And those who understand this early will look much more advanced than they really are. Not because they are more talented at everything, but because they are using a better structure. If you want to test tools to create videos, automations, avatars, clips, and pages, use the tools I mentioned in the description, but use them with a business mindset. This is not about collecting tools. It is about building a system that saves time and creates real opportunities. Because the new game is not human versus artificial intelligence. The new game is creator with system versus creator without system. And that difference will become more brutal every day. The creator without a system will always be tired, always late, always trying to catch up, always starting from zero with every video. The creator with a system will turn every video into learning, every test into data, every idea into an asset, every tool into leverage. That is the shift. So before asking what the next miracle tool is, ask which part of your operation is the slowest. Idea, script, editing, thumbnail, distribution, repurposing, analysis, monetization. Then use artificial intelligence to unlock that part. That is how you grow with direction. Here on AI Core, I will keep following this shift closely because many exaggerated promises will appear, many useless tools will be sold as revolutions, and many real opportunities will be missed by those who do not know how to analyze them. My role here is to separate noise from strategy. And if you want to grow in this new market, remember this. Artificial intelligence will not save a channel with no idea, but it can transform a good creator into a much faster, stronger, and more profitable operation. The future does not belong to those who press more buttons. It belongs to those who use artificial intelligence with strategy.